back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike and I got my line mate Matt with me. And before we get into it, be sure to check out the 30 on Broadway. We were guests on their podcast yesterday. It was a lot of fun. We talked some Blackhawks and New York Rangers, and they're both two teams up and coming, and we had a great conversation with those guys over there. So be sure to go and check them out, 30 on Broadway on iTunes, and they're great guys. Great podcast. So while I get into it today, we're going to go into the Caners' nagging injury, Evander Kane, ESPN schedule, Kesler, Ryan Kesler, Marc Andre Fleury, and the jersey number debate that I know other teams have it. You get a new guy and he wears a number that an old favorite wore. Number hasn't been retired, and some people have problems with it. So do us a favor, follow us on Twitter at Tomahawk Chicago, at Mateo Ryback, or at Mike57, Mike Pre57. And we'll get back to you if you want to message us. And give us a follow on the podcast if you have an opportunity. So here we go. There seems to be a trend going on this offseason. There seems to be a lot of players coming in late into September, and they have an injury that they've had going on, maybe a season or so, or maybe right before the season ended, haven't done anything, season's getting ready to start, and players are disclosing injuries that they've had. Now, I don't know if guys are, just trying to take some time off during the season or what, but Malakin is not going to be starting the season. Sidney Crosby is not going to be starting the season with a nagging injury, and Kaner's the next one. He is looking to start camp. He's looking to fully participate and start the season, but getting into his age, I think keeping him as healthy as possible should be the number one thing that the Blackhawks should be worrying about. I mean, he's a franchise cornerstone, a big star. He's played a lot of games, a lot of minutes for this team, and he's got a few years left on his contract. And he's talking about a nagging injury. Is this something that can be remedied through, maybe through some training, through some exercise, or is this something that needs a deeper look with surgery? Matt, how do you feel about players, coming out, out of nowhere and disclosing injuries that they've had for, in Kaner's case, the playoffs of 2020?
Yeah, well, at least he didn't have to get any surgery like Crosby. I mean, I remember me and you talking about it when we got the Crosby news, and we're like, what were you doing all summer? Why didn't you get this done and be ready for camp? But Kane, it's concerning because, like you said, he's the man here. But I mean, I don't have any information on what it is. It's just a nagging. It could be anything. It could be like a groin injury or wrist. Did you hear anything about it?
There was nothing specific said on what kind of injury it was.
Yeah, so I hope it's something minor, but if it's been a year of it, obviously. He played a full season and he looked great, so it didn't look like it was really, bringing him down that much. But like when you said these players that are, like even Eichel, the poor guy wanted neck surgery and he still hasn't had it. So, I mean,
right.
What happens when he gets traded? What are they going to do? Is this guy going to get his neck surgery he wanted, or is he just going to blow that off and play? Or is it just an excuse to get out of Buffalo?
Yeah. What if he's like, what, I'll play without it, and then the injury gets worse. Now you got a guy with $10 million that you're paying him, and
you need your neck. Yeah.
And you definitely need your neck, especially in hockey. I mean, especially, you got to be turning around looking, where's the puck coming? I think hockey players are more, they need their agility more than a lot of other sports do.
I found it a little interesting, though, them even releasing that about Kaner. I think I would have kept that quiet.
Yeah, I would have too.
They said he's coming back on time. So why even bring it up? I mean, I guess he did. I guess he did at the media tour. So
I wonder why he did.
It must be bugging him. So, yeah. I mean, a lot of players fight through injuries. And, I know a lot of just normal average Joe's guys that just go to work and they're fighting injuries and they're sore and it's their job. They got to do it.
Right.
So maybe that's his mindset on that.
Yeah, it could be. But, we're going to monitor that situation very closely. So moving on to Evander Kane. Now,
Kane.
Kane, EK. Now, a lot of people don't really like the guy. I understand. He has some off ice issues. He's always had off ice issues.
He's got on ice issues too.
He has on ice issues as well. And, a couple months now, it came out, his wife said some very scathing things about him.
Ex-wife, yep.
On social media. I thought they were still married, but I could be mistaken. Anyways, she said some very scathing things on social media. A lot of people jumped out on her side, calling him a piece of shit. And it's coming out now that, what she said was that he was betting on games. He was gambling on San Jose Sharks games, and that, he wasn't seeing his daughter. He was partying in Paris, instead of, being home with the family type of a thing. And, a lot of people didn't like it. While the NHL did an investigation, and it turns out that they couldn't find any information or any trends in gambling on San Jose Sharks games that he played in that would have benefited somebody, outwardly. Normally, if if Evander Kane says, what, put $300,000 on me, I'm going to score a hat trick tonight, and he does that, there's going to be a big payout with somebody when you're doing games like that. But apparently that wasn't the case. And then to put the cherry on top of it, they wanted to interview his ex-wife, and she wasn't cooperating and didn't do it, which is, makes me a little skeptical. And these are the problems when you start airing, these domestic issues and putting it out into the public. Obviously they should have communicated these things with each other, with their problems. But a lot of people are wondering, should Kane be kicked out of the NHL? And I don't believe that he should. And I'm going to tell you why. He was playing for the San Jose Sharks last year, and he actually had a very good statistical season last year. And, he wasn't displaying really any of his previous, off ice behavior, things that would warrant, kicking him out. He has this instance with his ex-wife, and now people want to have him kicked out. We don't know how true it is or not, especially since she won't cooperate with the investigation. And the NHL is looking to exonerate him. Matt, what do you think? We live in this cancel culture where people believe that they are the judge, jury, and executioner of people and want to just, they want their own justice. And if they don't get their own justice, then it's wrong. The wrong thing is happening. And a lot of people are having that. Do you think that us as people, we need to respect these guys' privacy? And when these things kind of come out, that there should be some kind of I don't want to say a filter, but, give these guys an opportunity to kind of keep this, close to the vest?
Yes, I think that any person outside of sports should be given a fair chance and not attacked by a mob, which Kane was.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he's got a bad rap, but
and it was believable with the money problems that he has. It's like, oh yeah, I could totally see him doing that. But
I actually believe Kane. I think he is innocent, and here's why: because hockey is not a game you can really bet. He can't really determine a game himself, Kane. Right. If Kane was a goalie, okay, and he did this, absolutely kick him out of the league.
Yeah.
Because he could determine a game. Oh yeah, my stick went up a little bit and I let up a goal. It's like a baseball pitcher.
Right.
This guy could be thrown. He's a forward, and I don't think he would do that. And I think he's, like you said, he's got bad thing going on with his ex-wife, and she was mad. She should have kept it between, it shouldn't. Social media is a joke, and people just need to get off it sometimes. I think in her case, she should do that, because now she looks like an idiot because she's not cooperating. And she tried to bring, I hate Evander Kane. I can't stand him as a player. I think he's just a douche. I think he acts like a douche, but he's a good player. And I know a lot of podcasts hockey ones that are, they said the same thing we do. They don't like Kane. They think he's a shit talker, and he starts a lot of trouble, and he's arrogant. But they believe him. They're like, I mean, how are you gonna bet against a hockey game that you're in? I mean, you can't. Like, you can't do that, and you're like a family with these guys. And if you win against your family, you're done. And I think his team's behind him too. And I can't stand the Sharks, but it's just people need to stop with these going guilty like right away. Like, let's hear all the facts, even with the Blackhawks.
It just
We're
didn't
hearing
even
all this stuff about it. Like, let's wait until it's done before we hang the guy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that probably because of his previous behavior, what she was accusing him of was completely believable, or at least in the realm of, something that maybe you would consider him doing.
Well, yeah, like I said, though, hockey is one of the purest sports. Like, it could be different every shift. You can't. Even if he did, which I don't think he did, bet on himself or to try to determine a game, it's like impossible to do. Like, I could see if it was a breakaway open net, whoops, I missed it. Or like a field goal kicker. Like, come on. Hockey is so different from these other sports you bet on, and it's a very hard sport to bet on because a guy can have an off night, and that's the game if you're a goalie.
Right.
So
yeah, really incredible. But for his sake, I hope that that whatever is the truth comes out, and if he's to be exonerated, then fine. If he didn't do anything wrong, But,
yeah, I hate the guy, but I'm behind him though.
Yeah,
I don't think a hockey player would do that.
And it's not that I don't believe the girl, his ex-wife. It's just that all of the information has been put out, and she wasn't willing to cooperate. So there's nothing further that we can do.
There you go. She wasn't cooperating. She probably
was really pissed off at him.
Probably pissed and said, "Oh, well, whatever. There's nothing I could do." And you look like an idiot. If she would have cooperated and stuck with her guns and kept going with it, maybe it's believable. But now you're hiding. So
yeah.
Now it's just a circus. That's all it is.
Moving on, we've got the ESPN schedule was released today. The Walt Disney Company announced that 103 exclusive NHL games across ESPN, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and ABC beginning on October 12th. 75 exclusive regular season games on ESPN Plus and Hulu. ESPN and ABC is going to showcase a combined 28 exclusive regular season games, and 1,000 plus out-of-market games will be available on ESPN Plus throughout the season, which is pretty cool because you'll be able to get games that you typically won't have an opportunity to see. On the first night, they're going to have a doubleheader. At 7:30 Eastern, we're going to have Pittsburgh and Tampa. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, they're going to have Seattle and Vegas. And they're all going to be on ESPN or ESPN Plus. So those are going to be two games. The last two expansion teams playing each other. Really get to see. Really cool to see. And Pittsburgh and Tampa is going to be a good one, even though Crosby and Malkin aren't going to be in that one. So, Matt, are you planning on getting ESPN Plus?
Man, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Me and you text here and there. And is NHL Center Ice still available?
I believe it is. And I'm curious.
I had that and I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm curious how it will be done considering everything that's happening with ESPN. So
I got it. I love hockey. Obviously, if I have to get it, I will. But I do remember when I was at home still with my mom and my dad. They bought me Center Ice, and I don't even think I left my room for months because I just was watching every single team on there. And one game ends, a new one begins out west, and I was like, man. And I remember when I first got Center Ice, I was following Kopitar's rookie year with the Kings because, they start real late and I'd get home later. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. I got Miller calling the games, their Hall of Fame broadcaster with Jim Fox, I think his name was, but it was awesome, man. And I'm really looking, me and my wife been looking into getting that.
Okay. Yeah, let me know what you do. I'm curious. But yeah, I'm curious what everybody's going to do if they're going to start subscribing to. There's going to be an uptick in subscribers to Hulu and ESPN Plus. I would really like to see the NHL in like 4K, 60 frames a second. That would be awesome.
HD is awesome for hockey, man.
Yeah, it is.
It really helps the game a lot.
Yeah, it does.
You got those complainers. I can't see the puck. I mean, what more do they have to do for you? That camera is literally on the guy with the puck. You need to open your freaking eyes.
Remember watching that on ESPN2 back in the day? I can understand back in the day you couldn't see the puck.
Yeah, it was, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's fast today, now, and the camera, the technology is way better.
Right.
Even the slow motion stuff, like the passes you see, like you'll see a guy throw a nice saucy pass and they put it in slow motion. It goes right over the defender's stick, like perfect saucer. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Awesome. Good stuff. And then the saves, of course. The goal line saves, like Marc Andre Fleury, he's going to have so many highlight reel saves this year, I'm hoping.
I'm hoping too. So, speaking of Marc Andre Fleury,
ooh, yeah.
What do you think of those new pads that he's got?
I don't mind him. I think he looks good in a Hawks sweater.
They say it's a tribute to
Tony O.
Tony O, yeah.
So here's a funny story I forgot to tell you. So I told you Dave Hansen texted me when we got Fleury. He said, "Hey Matt, hope you're doing well. Good luck with Fleury." And so I texted him. I actually texted him today. I scrolled down my phone all the way at the bottom. Dave Hansen. I looked for the thumb emojis because that's all he gave me.
Yeah. And
I sent him a picture of Fleury and his pads today. I said, "What do you think, Dave? Old time hockey, eh?" And what do you think he did? He gave me a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
So
that's so funny.
So yeah, he's actually talking to me. He wants to get back on with us, which would be exciting.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that.
Guy's the man.
I just want to see where he's at. So one thing I want to talk about is players and the toll of the game that it takes on them. And Ryan Kesler is a good example of that. He mentioned today in an interview recently that he's done. He's trying to play some hockey. He's skating 3 times a week, but he's just done. He's never going to play again in the NHL. He can't get his body back to where it needs to be. I believe he's 37 years old. So he's definitely up there, but it's kind of sad that, you don't get to see him go out, kind of on a shield in a way.
He played hard, man.
In a farewell game. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I remember him most because I hated him
Same.
when he played for Team USA. And I was like, you know what? Thank God this guy's on our team.
Him and Kaner, right?
They were phenomenal together.
Kaner and Kesler and somebody, I forget who else.
I didn't know he was that fast.
Dude, he can hit too.
Yeah,
I think
he was
put
hitting
Kaner
too.
over the boards one year, and I'm like, God damn, this guy's a freaking bulldozer.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's too bad that he's not going to be able to play, but he says that he's got the body of an 80-year-old man.
I believe it.
And it's really curious to see, because I think the average length of a career in the NHL is 3 to 4 years. So when you're getting guys, because there's about 800 guys in the league, and when you're getting guys who are playing 15 years, 16 years, you're really putting a toll on your body. And you wonder where the line is, where you're like, you know what, I'm just done. I don't want to play anymore. They're considering Bergeron. Bergeron is saying that he's not going to decide whether he's doing a next contract until after this season. He's going to see how he feels, and where the body is. But we might be looking at a lot of retirements coming up within the next 2 to 3 years.
Well, Kesler was a lot different than Bergeron. I think Bergeron will play, just because he's not as
physical,
and Kesler was just him and Taves, man. What a great war those guys had together. They're pretty much Taves are his whole career. They were after each other. They finally fought. What was it, like the last year he was on the Ducks?
Yeah.
And Kesler was laughing. He's like, geez, I was trying to do this for the last 10 years and he finally did it. And he was, man, I like you said, I hated him too, but man, I respect him because the Canucks just battles, man, with the Hawks, and I think he beat the Hawks one year. What was that, 2011? They barely Dave Bolin came back and almost gave us a miracle, three 3-0. We came back, took them to a Game 7, but that Ducks series still is one of my favorites, man. I think that probably took 5 years off his career. That series, just a battle. All those
everybody.
Guys. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's when
mentally too.
Yeah,
just back and forth, goals, and oh my goodness.
I think that's half the reason why Getzlaf lost his hair.
Yeah, he's bald as hell now. That's right.
Probably from that game, but
surprised it's not just like gray, like just all. It's probably why he shaved it. Yeah, he's probably like white. Saw a ghost.
So to Ryan Kesler, congratulations, man. You had a phenomenal career. I hated you for half of your career, and I'll be honest with you, man. After he played on Team USA, I actually liked the guy until he was playing against the Hawks, and then I hated him. And then when those games were over, then I liked him again. So
I think we were just scared of him.
Yeah,
he's just so damn good. It's like shit, and you got that respect there, but
hell of a career.
Yeah, I agree.
So something that I've been wanting to talk about, and it's what I'm going to call the jersey number debate. And it's something that really drives me up the wall, is when you have a fan favorite that has their own number and another player comes in, they take it. And the organization didn't say, no, you can't wear this number. We're going to retire it. Or, this number is just off limits. You just can't do it.
That's a locker room thing too, I think.
Is it?
I think there's a lot of teams that, even with the Cubs, I remember when Kerry Wood was gone, they kept his locker and his jersey untouchable. And I thought that was pretty classy as hell.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a locker room thing. I wish that, when Johnny Oduya came, that, 27 should be, I think, in my opinion, 27 should be up in the rafters. Roenick was just a
piece of the franchise
stud. And he ran his mouth a little bit when, he wasn't getting what he wanted, but give the guy $400,000 because he scored 50 goals back to back, and he's our last 50 goal scorer we've had.
Right.
What's that, like 1991, 92 or something? 93?
We're talking about 30 years.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't even had a guy close. I think Kaner was maybe the closest at like 45
44,
or something.
I believe.
Yeah, I know where you're going with it, with Seth Jones being number 4. That's Nick Jarmelson's number to me too.
I was going to bring up Boquist because I was furious that he wore 27.
I forgot about, I'm glad he's gone, but Oduya wore it also, and
he also won 2 cups. And the guy was a warrior.
You're right. It's hard to say, hey man, that's Roenick's number, but he was a huge piece. And another guy that I was really upset with when he took my childhood favorite guy was Tony Amonte. And Patrick Sharp took it, but he's got 3 Stanley Cups, and I think he's the number 10 of the Blackhawks. He's earned it.
That's a hard pill for me to swallow, man.
It was tough for me, man.
But he's got a phenomenal career, and I think that it's unfortunate that Tony Amonte won't be able to put that number in the rafters with his name on it.
He was a great Blackhawk.
He was a cornerstone of the franchise. He scored more goals than Patrick Kane, and he played more games than Patrick Kane as well. So actually,
an Iron Man.
Actually, you can make a case, even still, that Tony Amonte deserves the number 10 for the Blackhawks over Patrick Sharp, even though he's got 3 Stanley Cups.
You know who I was pissed off about too? But when he started scoring some highlight reel goals and coming up big, Marty Havlat wearing 24. That one hurt me a little bit too.
Yeah. That is
totally two different players, but Proby was great.
Yeah, I loved him. So anyways, that's my gripe. Does anybody else out there have a gripe about somebody coming into your favorite team and taking one of your childhood favorite players' numbers that hasn't been retired yet? I think that number 2, number 7 are probably untouchable now.
Well, I was going to talk about Eric Weinrich, Mike. I thought I was really pissed when Duncan Keith took that.
Yeah.
Number 7,
okay.
Chelios. Oh yeah, I'll take Seabrook all day, baby.
Yeah. And Chelly only played for the Hawks for 5 years?
You know what, man?
He was still a legend, though.
People our age are obsessed with Chelios. He's a great player, great defenseman, Hall of Famer. But when he talked all that shit about Detroit, listen, I understand you cannot help where you get traded. You got traded to the bad guys. But after all those years, he kept resigning and resigning and resigning. Oh, Chicago's my home. It's my team. Come on, dude. Freaking Detroit's your team. That's what I hate. I hate that, man.
You know what, though, man? That just goes to show you the organization in Detroit. They made him feel wanted, and they made him feel welcome. And
it was an all-star team. And you wanted to win.
Yeah. And the problem was, at the time, the Blackhawks weren't the destination that they are now for players.
Yeah, I know. It sucked playing for the Hawks in the 90s. You can't even get a home game on TV. It was a joke.
It was brutal.
But he was a Chicago kid. He's from... what was he from, like Beverly or something, Mount Greenwood? But I just hate when he's on like NHL Network. He's talking about the Blackhawks and stuff. I'm like, come on, dude. I know you had some great games and stuff, but you're a Red Wing.
He's a Blackhawks ambassador, man.
I'm not a big fan of him as
a person. You're not.
As a player, he was a stud. He was mean. He'd fight you. He scored goals. He played defense correctly. He played it the right way. But he
cross-checked you?
Oh yeah, he cross-checked. Did you see what he did to Kaner his rookie year? I remember Chelly was like all over him that first game.
Oh really?
He was all over him. He's like, "Hey, welcome to the league, bud," and just hacking, and I'm watching the game. I was there when Kaner scored that shootout goal against Hasek, his first game. I think it was the home opener or whatever, but 08.
Okay.
I think it was 08. And I just remember just bashing Chelios the whole game in 321 section whatever. And I'm like, I hate this freaking guy. He needs to freaking retire, man. I'm so tired of you. You're freaking gray bush out there.
And he played another 10 years after that, too.
He kept playing. And then I think he won another cup, right?
Yeah, he did. I think he won two.
He won
I think he won one more.
09 or 08 or whatever?
Yeah.
Jeez. He's got like 4 or 5 cups.
Yeah,
a couple with Canadians.
There's a good picture of him with on the beach in Michigan with the cup and with Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, on the beach, like red, tan as hell. Yeah, that guy's like a freak.
Yeah,
he's redder than a freaking Blackhawks sweater. Crazy.
So you got anything else, man?
No, I just caught a little off guard with Kaner's nagging injury and. I hope it's not serious. I wish he would have kept it quiet and just, not made everyone panic.
Now he's gonna get hacked and
now they're gonna be what's hurting Kaner here? Oh no, here, and they're just gonna keep beating the crap out of him. But
yeah. Well, hey everybody, thank you for listening. We're very, very appreciative. Do us a favor, give us a review in iTunes. It really helps out the channel. We're very appreciative. Hit subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. This is the Tomahawk. We're out of here.